This video will show you how to do this worksheet if you're having some trouble with it. If you know how to do it, you're welcome to go ahead and do the worksheet without watching this video. Please check your work though whenever you're done. So a school club decides to have customized t-shirts made. The Clothing Shack will charge $30 for setup costs and $12 for each shirt. The cost of having them made at Clever Creations is $50 initial fee for the setup and $8 for each t-shirt. So part A asks us to write an equation that gives the cost of ordering X shirts from the Clothing Shack. So from the Clothing Shack, our cost, I'm going to call that C. I'm going to call that C right here. That is going to equal, they charge $30 just for the setup, and then they cost $12 per t-shirt. It tells us they're X shirts, so I'm going to use the variable X for the number of shirts. The second question is similar, but it asks for the equation for Clever Creations. So for Clever Creations, you have a $50 setup fee and $8 for each shirt. So this gives us our equation here. The next question asks, if the club wants to order t-shirts, which company would be the most economical choice if they're only ordering 3 t-shirts? So, for Clothing Shack, we would have, our cost would equal 30 plus 12 times 3, which would be 30 plus 36, which would give us $66 overall. For the cost for Clever Creations, our cost would be $50 plus $8 times the 3 t-shirts. So that's going to give us 50 plus 24, which is 74 here. So we can see Clothing Shack is the cheapest in this case. For part D, it asks us the same question, but with 10 t-shirts. So I'm just going to Clothing Shack, continue. C equals 30 plus 12 times 10. And that's going to be 30 plus 120, which will give us $150. For Clever Creations, we'll have 50 plus 8 times 10, which is 50 plus 80, which equals $130, so $130. So in this case, Clever Creations would be the cheapest. So we can see fewer t-shirts, Clothing Shack is better, but more t-shirts, Clever Creations is better. Part E, though, wants us to know when they're exactly the same. So we want to know when the companies will charge the same amount. So we will take the 2 equations that we found in Part A and Part B, and we'll set them equal to each other. So we'll have 30 plus 12x equals 50 plus 8x. Because both of these are costs, we want to see when they're equal to each other. And so to solve that, I would subtract that 8x. So 30 plus 4x will equal 50. Then I will subtract the 30. So 4x will equal 20. And the last thing is I would divide by 4, and x would equal 5 t-shirts. So for 5 t-shirts, the 2 companies would cost exactly the same. Okay, we'll continue on. We have a situation in Part 2 where it says Speedy Telegram Service charges a $30 base fee and 75 cents for each letter or symbol. Quick Delivery charges a $25 base fee and 90 cents for each character. So A and B, just like the last, ask us to write an equation. So I'm going to still use a C for cost. It tells us to write an equation that gives the cost of sending a message that is X characters long. So I'm going to use X for the number of characters. So I will have for Speedy Telegram Service, that's 30 plus 0.75 times X. For our second one, for Quick Delivery, they charge a $25 fee, and then they charge 90 cents for every character that is included in the telegram. So we get these two equations. C says, for what number of characters will the price at Speedy Telegram Service and Quick Delivery be the same? So to see when these are the same, we set them equal to each other. So we'll have 30 plus 0.75x equals 25 plus 0.9x, and we will subtract that 0.75x. Okay, so we get 30 equals 25 plus 0.15x. The next thing we want to do is subtract that 25. So we get 5 equals 0.15x. And then the last thing is we'll divide by 0.15. And so when we redo that, 5 divided by 0.15 is going to be 33.3 repeating. Okay. So in this case, we know 33.3 repeating is where the price would be the same. Now, obviously, you can't have 0.3 repeating of a letter. So this would mean in one case, if we have 33 or less, one would be best. When we have 34 or more, the other would be best. The last question says, which company is the most economical choice if your message has 100 characters? Now, we could just plug 100 into both of these and we'll find the answer. If we just use a little logic, though, we see that Speedy Telegram has a higher base fee but a lower cost per letter. So that tells me Speedy Telegram Service is going to be the one that is going to be cheapest. And Speedy Telegram is cheaper for any message with fewer, with more than 34 or 34 characters. Actually, we shouldn't say more than there because that would mean more. That would mean 34 would not count. With greater than or equal to 34 characters. It would actually probably sound best if we said with 34 or more characters there. Now, if you're not certain about that, you can always use your calculator just to plug in. Try for Speedy Telegram Service, 30 plus 0.75 times 100. And we see that that would cost $105, whereas if we do 25 plus 0.9 times 100, we end up with 115. So Speedy Telegram is definitely the cheapest here. Okay. For number 3, we've got two pizza companies. Cheesy's Pies charges $5 for a 12-inch sausage pizza and $5 for delivery. The Pizza Palace delivers for free, but they charge $7 for a 12-inch sausage pizza. So for A, write an equation that gives the cost of having X pizzas delivered from Cheesy's Pies. So Cheesy's, I'm going to use a Y this time. Could use a C again if I want for cost, but Y equals $5 plus they charge $5 for delivery, plus they charge $5 for each pizza. So 5 plus 5 times X. However, for B, the Pizza Palace, they don't charge anything for delivery. So if I wanted to, I could put 0 here, or just not put anything at all. But they charge $7 for a pizza. So really, this would look a lot better if I just wrote it Y equals 7X. Okay. C says Johnny is going to order a certain number of pizzas. He checks the price for ordering the pizzas and finds that the cost of ordering those pizzas is the same at both restaurants. How many pizzas is Johnny ordering? So we would say, for this, we'd say 5 plus 5x, that's how much it costs to order from Cheesy's, has to equal 7x. And so we would subtract 5x, and so 5 equals 2x, and then we would divide by 2. And so x would equal 2.5 pizzas. Now, this is an odd situation because most pizza places will not let you order half of a pizza, but this is what we get for this problem, so we're just going to leave it. Probably, I did type these out myself. I probably mistyped something there. I think that should have been 6, but we'll just go with 2.5 pizzas for this is the correct answer. And so, if you're only going to order 2 pizzas, which restaurant is the most economical choice? So if you're only going to get 2 pizzas, if we have the first equation, we have 5 plus 5 times 2, which is going to give us 5 plus 10, which is 15. But for the Pizza Palace, we'd have 7 times 2, which would give us 14. So if you only order 2 pizzas, then the Pizza Palace is the best place to go. Or I guess not go. Okay. Example 4 is going to be a little bit more difficult than the other problems. So the Evening News has a minimum charge of $4 for up to 3 lines and $1.75 for each additional line of listing placed in the classified section. The Morning Journal charges $8 for the first 5 lines and $1.25 for each additional line. It says write the equation that gives the cost of placing a classified ad with X lines in the Evening News. So for the Evening News, this is a little bit tricky here. So our cost for the Evening News is it costs $4 for up to 3 lines. So whenever you pay $4, you get 3 lines for that $4. But if you go over 3 lines, they're going to charge you $1.75 for every line. So the equation that most students would usually write is 4 plus 1.75x. However, if I only have 1 line, they don't charge me that $1.75. They charge me, that's just included in my $4. So right here what I have to do is I have to put some parentheses and I have to say x minus 3. Because x is my number of lines. And I have already paid for the first 3 lines, so I don't want to include those in the ones I'm charged $1.75 for. So this would be our equation for A. C, for B, is going to be similar, but a little bit different because for the Morning Journal, there's an $8 charge for the first 5 lines. So $8 is going to get you 5 lines. So they are not going to charge you any extra for those first 5 lines. But if you go over 5 lines, they're going to charge you $1.25. And so they're going to charge you $1.25, not for every line, but just the ones that are above 5. So if we put x minus 5 right here, then that'll only charge for the ones that go above 5. For example, if we had 7 lines, we'd have 8 plus 1.25 times 7 minus 5. 7 minus 5 would give us 2. They're only charging you $1.25 for those 2 lines above your 5 free lines that you had there. Or I guess not free, the ones that cost $8. So the next part says complete the following sentence. The Morning Journal is most economical choice if you're replacing a classified ad with blank or more lines. So what we really need to know here is when these two are equal to each other. And I didn't leave much room. Let's go over here. So we're going to set these equal to each other. So 4 plus 1.75 times x minus 3 has to equal 8 plus 1.25 times x minus 5. And so if we do that, we need to distribute. So we'll have 4 plus 1.75x minus, and then if we do 1.75 times 3, 1.75 times 3, we're going to get 5.25 equals 8. And here we have to distribute our 1.25. So we'll have 1.25x minus, and we got to do 1.25 times 5, which is going to be 1.25 times 5, which is going to be 625. So here, we would combine our like terms. We've got 4 and negative 5.25, so that's going to give us 1.75x. And then 4 and negative, that 4 and that negative 5.25 we can combine. That'll give us negative 1.25. And over here, the 8 and the negative 6.25 we can combine, so we'll get 1.25x plus 8 minus 6.25 is going to give us 1.75. So now we just have a couple steps more to solve this equation. We can subtract our 1.25x. So 0.5x is going to equal, minus 1.25 is going to equal 1.75. We will add our 1.25 to both sides. So 0.5x equals, here we're going to get $3. We're going to divide by 0.5 on both sides. And 3 divided by 0.5 is going to give us 6. So the Morning Journal, they have a lower charge per extra line. So if you need 6 or more lines, the Morning Journal is going to be cheaper. Okay. Our last question says shipping company A charges $4 for the first 5 pounds, then 75 cents for every pound after that. Shipping company B charges $6 for the first 10 pounds and then 60 cents for every pound after that. For what weight package would company A and B charge the same amount? So in this case, we need an equation for A and B, and it's a lot like the last problem. So shipping company A charges $4 plus 75 cents for every pound after the first 5 pounds. So just like on that last one, we're not charging 75 cents for every pound, but 75 cents for every pound above 5. So we'd have to put x minus 5 right here. And that's going to equal, the other equation charges $6 for your first 10 pounds, plus they charge 60 cents for every pound past that. So every pound past 10 means we need to say x minus 10 right here. So to solve this, we'll distribute just like we did on the last problem. So 4 plus 0.75x minus, 0.75 times 5 is going to give us 375. And then we'll have 6 plus 0.6x minus 6 whenever we distribute here. And so we're going to combine our like terms. 4 minus 3.75, we're going to get 0.75x plus 0.25 equals, here I've got a positive 6 and a negative 6. Those two are going to cancel each other out. And so we get 0.6x. And so we've got to solve this equation for x. I'm going to subtract the 0.75x and subtract the 0.75x. And so I get 0.25 equals negative 0.15x. Uh-oh, I think I've messed up. I think I've made a bad problem. Divide by negative 0.15, and so if we take 0.25 and divide it by negative 0.15, we would get negative 1.6 repeating, which does not make any sense. For this, I should have used some bigger numbers over here. So I came up with this problem. It is a bad problem, so don't worry too much about it. It's set up correctly. It's just I've set up a bad problem that doesn't give you a very logical answer here. So once you have finished this, I want you to turn it into the sub and then you are going to go to IXL, and IXL, I want you to do sections U, let me see what they were. They are U3 and U4. So once you finish this worksheet, make sure everything's correct, turn it into the sub, and then you're going to work on IXL U3 and U4. These are some sections with some graphing that I think should be fairly simple for you, and there's some extra credit if you get those done, so make sure you work on those.